Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are going to get into everything you need to know for this upcoming trading week and where I ultimately think AMC stock could go. Now, I specifically want to discuss when we could start seeing some gains in our AMC positions. We've seen a lot of losses recently. When do we start to get some of that back? In other words, Moas or bust? Let's go ahead and get into it. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and you are ready for another jam-packed video. So first things first, I want to acknowledge again what's been happening recently. Markets have been falling. The Fed is delusional. We're going into a recession. That's very clear. This has not been positive on a lot of your small mid-cap companies. This is bad news. Now, AMC stock, the reason you've actually been performing pretty dang well recently is because AMC already sold off big time over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months now. So you've already kind of beaten the stock down to levels that are ridiculous in the grand scope of things, right? We've already seen the downside here. So as the markets do start to roll over, I expect a lot less downside. For an example, if the markets fall 10%, then I would expect 5 to 10% of a downside for AMC, not a 50% downside like you might see in some other stocks. So I think there could be downside, obviously, if the markets did fall big, but odds are probably not. I think you've just already seen that downside. And at this point, if analysts have their average price targets, which analysts have a average hold to sell rating on AMC, have their price targets 150% higher than where AMC stock price is today, well, that's obviously saying, hey, you're probably in for some gains. Now, Moas or not, I think that's a big question. And we need to really discuss this upcoming week. Now, this upcoming week is the last week of this fiscal year. So this fiscal year is coming to an end. AMC stock has fallen a lot. Do you still want to be short heading into 2024? Does the risk to return make sense? Now, how hedge funds evaluate this is obviously fundamentals, the riskiness of the company, a lot of different things, the charts even for that matter. But the simple question is, do you think AMC stock is going to make a 50% move lower or potentially 50% move higher? If you think there's a greater chance AMC stock is going to go higher, then you probably want to get out of your position. So I'm actually pretty bullish on this upcoming week for AMC stock. Now, with that being said, I'm not that bullish on this upcoming week for the broader markets. Historically, the last week of September is the worst week of the year, any year, because of this effect where your fiscal year essentially ends. Now, you also have a couple interesting things working in the background. You have the fact that Congress does remain divided on budget negotiations as government shutdown looms. Quote, "Our financial ship is sinking. I don't know what to think," said Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin over the weekend. "Time is dwindling for lawmakers to reach an agreement or else a government shutdown will take effect on October 1st. Now, this normally is not bad for the markets when the government shuts down. People say, hey, the government's not going to be spending money. That's great. That's fine. But in this market environment where you have so much pressure on the economy already, it's not great. And that's just potentially the straw that breaks the camel's back. If you see hundreds of thousands of workers no longer getting paid for any point of extended time, we're going to have a big problem on our hands. And it's not going to be pretty. So go ahead and keep that in mind. This is something in the background that is happening. I think the markets, you've seen recently the markets are weak, and I think this could be one of the factors that is definitely playing a role here. Now, on top of that, this week, you're going to have some pretty important data. Now, if you really want to boil this down, on Wednesday, you're going to get the, durable goods orders month over month for the month of August. You're expecting negative 1.4%. On Thursday, you are going to be getting the final readings for Q2 GDP. You're actually expecting a revision higher to 2.2% from 2% at the last revision. So you're actually expecting better GDP numbers. And then on Friday, you're going to get the France inflation rate, but also personal spending, personal income, core PCE, and headline PCE. These are going to be very important data reports. Across the board, you're expecting personal spending to fall a little bit, personal income to rise a little bit, and PCE to basically stay the same on a core month-over-month basis, but your month-over-month headline PCE is expected to increase to 0.5% from 0.2%, and you are expecting your PCE year over year to come in around 3.5%. That is higher than 3.3% that we've seen last reading. So across the board, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to be getting important data every single day that could move the markets. You got to be watching. Does this data start to reflect an incoming recession? Well, if it does, that's not great. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's something that is also going to be having an effect on this week. Now, I do think if you boil this down, AMC stock has fallen a lot, and you're probably going to see a rally this week as hedge funds and institutions do go ahead and close out their positions. Now, in terms of an actual Moas, guys, yeah, it's still coming. It's just a matter of time, in my personal opinion. Now, to how high we go, to what degree do we go? Well, who knows? Now, for an example, the low back in January of 2020, when AMC stock was about to go bankrupt and the whole meme stock kind of dilemma started, you were about $10.30 per share. You rallied to about $100 odd. Is that possible? Sure. Now, would you expect to see a move from $10 to $400? Sure, anything is possible. And I do think you're at one of those moments where you're the most short you've ever been, the most amount of shares sold short ever. You're at the highest FTDs you have ever seen, and that's going to be coming this week. You have a lot of people that are very down and pessimistic on AMC. That's exactly when, a matter of fact, you want to be a buyer of a short squeeze trade. That's when you theoretically want to go long. You never make the most money by buying after the squeeze starts. You make the real money by buying before it actually happens. So I do think it's a waiting game. It's a time game here. Good news is we do have a lot of the dilution out of the way. We do have the court proceeding out of the way. We do have a lot of the negative factors that have been playing a role in AMC stock since January of 2023, 9 months now, that are out of the way. So I do think AMC can react more fluently to good or bad news like we used to see. We used to get good news and AMC stock would be up 30% in a morning. Now, whether that would hold throughout the rest of the day is definitely a different question. But we would actually react to good or bad news. We would react to flows more than we have over the past 9 months. Over the past 9 months, there's been so many bearish kind of things looming over AMC stock. It's been hard to react positively to any positive news. So that could soon be changing. And I do think this upcoming week will be very, very important for just that. Now, if we take a look at the option activity here with AMC stock as well for this week, the $8 call, $8.50 call, as well as the $9 call are going to be very important. If AMC stock can get to $11 per share, you're going to have anywhere from about $4,000 on the low end here at the $9.50 call to as high as $14,000 for open interest at the $11 call. So some pretty good numbers here we're looking at for this week. And as you know, a lot of people do play those weekly options, which you should never do. Let's be honest, never play weekly options on AMC. If you want to play options on AMC at all, you go out for the leaps. You go buy yourself some 2026 options, or 2025 at the very least. So if anything happens here in the next couple of months, the next year or two, you are covered and you are ready to roll. And trust me, if AMC stock goes back to $200, $300, $400, you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on just a couple of those options. A lot of gains. So you don't have to get caught up on how many options do I own. This has to happen by this day. No, that's never a good way to invest your money or even trade your money for that matter. It's just not diligent. Now, if you take a look at the put side as well, at the $8 put, you do have about $5,500 for open interest. At the $8.50 put, you have about $3,000 for open interest as well. So if we do make that move higher, in which I expect we will, you're going to also see puts go out of the money. Now, as far as what I expect for this week, I think it depends. If the markets can catch a bounce, which historically, again, look at this chart, does not look likely, then AMC stock could easily start to retest about $14 per share. $14 per share is the next big level that you really need to break above, that we found a lot of resistance back here in early September. Now, $10 per share is a big psychological level. If you break above that, then you pretty quickly, I think, go to about $13 per share. That's where I would expect AMC stock could go this week. But again, it's very volatile, and you never know what's going to happen. Now, if you look at the MACD is looking very bullish right here and right now. If you look at the RSI as well, the RSI is still oversold. So literally, you want to be the bottom barrel fisherman here. You want to be going in buying when there is no water left in the bowl, and then the fish are easy to catch. If you got to feed your family that night, for a drastic example, would you rather fish out of a swimming pool with 1,000 fish in it, or would you rather fish in the lake with thousands of fish with a big old lake? If you had to feed your family that night, obviously you're gonna fish in a freaking swimming pool, right? Because your odds of catching a fish are much higher. The odds of you catching a gain in AMC stock now, much higher. And I do think some of that leverage personally sits me very well. Buying longer dated leverage via those leap options on AMC stock makes a whole lot of sense to me personally. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. Do what you guys want to do for your own situation. But that's how I'm looking at this. I never thought I would have a chance to buy AMC stock back under the January 2021 levels. Are you kidding me? But it's finally here, and a lot of people are not taking advantage of it. I'm not going to be that guy that does not take advantage of it. But again, I'm really not buying that many shares right now. I'm buying those leap options. I want the leverage. At this point, it does me no good. I put way too much money in AMC. It's not going to help me to buy, 100 shares here. It's just not going to help me. It's not going to take my average down enough. I want some leverage to help get some of those gains back. And that's just my personal opinion. That's what I'm doing. Do what you guys want. I'm buying the 2026 options. That's what I plan on doing. So let me know down below in the comment section what you guys are doing with your position. Let me know how you are positioning for any kind of upside. Let me know what you think is coming this week or over the next couple of trading weeks. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, link down below in the description of this video for the trading community, as well as that helps support the channel. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.